करना नहीं होगा, ऐसे ही रहेगा, ऐसे ही रहेगा। तो पहले आप देख लीजिए यूट्यूब लाइव का, ऐसे ही रहेगी। फोन से ऑटो रोटेट ऑफ कीजिए, ऑटो रोटेट ऑफ नहीं, वो ऐसे ही रहेगा। फोन से यूट्यूब लाइव ऐसे ही रहता है, आप करके देख लीजिए। तो रील जैसा हो गया। वीडियो नहीं है, इसलिए नहीं हो रहा है। रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है।
Only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to His lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By His grace, one can cross the ocean of ignorance of thinking of and mercy of Krishna. I only wish to have my consciousness purified by words emanating from His lotus form. Attachment to His lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From an ecstatic preeminence, I am ignorance is destroyed. The very scriptures sing of His strength. Our spiritual master is the ocean master, the friend of the poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the world. We take shelter of your lotus feet. Jai Krishna Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. ISKCON Sansthanakacharya Savior of the whole world is Sri Srila Prabhupada. Young Vishnu Bhagavad Governments and Imperial Pravishta, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada. Ananta Kopi Vaishnava Vrindaki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha, Shri Guru Gopala Das Raghunath, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिनाथ श्याम राधा गौर मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र गंगा मई यमुना मई की वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ की श्रीताई गौरंग की श्री प्रहलाद नरसिम्हा देव की समवेत गौरव भक्तवृंद की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की गौर प्रेमानंद all glories to that separate devotees, all glories to that separate devotees, all glories and glories to Shri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Shri Prabhupada ki.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Radhe. Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe. Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottara Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Samsthapanacharya Savior of the whole world Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Nitya Leela Pravishta His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text 9. Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Prahuhu Bhagavatottamam Prahur Bhagavatottamam Prahur Bhagavatottamam Tasya Janma Mahascharyam Tasya Janma Mahascharyam Karmani Cha Grinihi Naha Karmani Cha Grinihi Naha Karmani Cha Grinihi Naha Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Prahur Bhagavatottamam Tasya Janma Mahascharyam Karmani Cha Grinihi Naha Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Prahur Bhagavatottamam Tasya Janma Mahascharyam Karmani Cha Grinihi Naha Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Prahur Bhagavatottamam Tasya Janma Mahascharyam Grinihi Naha Tasya Janma Mahascharyam Karmani Cha Grinihi Naha Grinihi Naha Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Prahur Bhagavatottamam Tasya Janma Mahascharyam Karmani Cha Grinihi Naha Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Prahur Bhagavatottamam Tasya Janma Mahascharyam Grinihi Naha Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Bhagavatomam Tasya Janma Mahascharya Karmani Chagrinihinah Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Prahur Bhagavatomam Tasya Janma Mahascharya Karmani Chagrinihinah Abhimanyu Sutam Sutha Prahur Bhagavatomam Tasya Janma Mahascharya Karmani Chagrinihinah Abhimanyu Sutam, the son of Abhimanyu. Suta, O Suta, Prahuhu is to be said. Bhagavata Uttamam, Bhagavata Uttamam, the first class devotee of the Lord. Tasya, his, Janma, birth, Maha Ascharyam, very wonderful, Karmani, activities, Cha, and Grinihi, please speak to, Naha, us. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. Translation with repetition. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The birth of Maharaj Parikshit is wonderful because in the womb of his mother, he was protected by the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. His activities are also wonderful because he chastised Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow. To kill cows means to end human civilization. He wanted to protect the cow from being killed by the great representative of sin. His death is also wonderful because he got previous notice of his death, which is wonderful for any mortal being. And thus he prepared himself for passing away by sitting down on the bank of the Ganges and hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord. During all the days he heard Bhagavatam, he did not take food or drink, nor did he sleep a moment. So everything about him is wonderful, and his activities are worth hearing attentively. The desire is expressed herein to hear about him in detail. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So this chapter is entitled The Appearance of Sri Narada. And in this particular verse, the sages of Naimisharanya are addressing Suta Goswami. Abhimanyu Sutam Suta, O Suta. Abhimanyu Sutam, son of Abhimanyu, referring to Parikshit. Prahuhu Bhagavatottamam. We have heard that Abhimanyu Sutta, was a Bhagavata Uttamam. Tasya Janma Karmani Cha Mahascharyam. His birth, his activities are all wonderful. Grinihi Naha. Grinihi Naha. Please tell us about his birth and activities. It is said, Prahuhu, that Maharaj Parikshit, Abhimanyu Sutta, is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, Bhagavatottamam, and that his birth and activities, Janma cha Karmani, are all wonderful, Maha Ascharyam. Please tell us about him. Grinihi Naha. So a devotee, like the sages here, are very eager to hear about the Lord and his devotees. The Lord, as much as Lord performs wonderful activities, his devotees are also perform wonderful activities. And that is why this is not normal devotees, they are Bhagavata Uttamam. Sarvadbhuta Chamatkara Leela Kallola Varidihi. It is said that Krishna performs pastimes which are Sarvadbhuta Chamatkara. And how many pastimes he performs? Leela Kallola Varidihi. Like the waves of an ocean. Countless. The Lord is unlimited. The Lord's qualities are unlimited. The Lord's devotees are unlimited. And Lord's activities are also unlimited. There is no end. That's why it is called Ananta. Anta and Ananta. No end to his activities. So, we always look at, from our perspective of the material world. But actually, this material world is secondary. This spiritual world is primary. It is like a prisoner who from within the prison is trying to understand the world outside. Oh, there are highways, motor cars, shopping malls, homes, families. He has heard about it, or he has probably had an experience also about it. And so he is recollecting and thinking about the world outside from his perspective. Oh, here we only get limited food. There, varieties of food is available. Here, everything is restricted. There, you can travel freely. Because the prison is a conditioning environment. It is a conditional environment for the inmates. In the same way, this material world is a conditional environment for the conditioned souls who are the inmates of this world. Prabhupada gives this example that this material world is like a prison. Some time ago, I was wondering why Prabhupada says that this is a prison. Once I had an opportunity to visit a prison. Visit. Don't get scared. So, when we were going, I was with one more devotee. There was one police officer. This was in Ahmedabad, Sabarmati jail. And the person who sent us to go and see that, when he said, Swamiji, go and visit the jail, we were a little blank on our face. Then he said, no, Swamiji, this Sabarmati jail is the jail in which Gandhiji was there. So you must go. I said, all right. So we went there. One senior police officer was taking us. And when passed through the big gates, opened, then we went in. Gates closed behind. And then we went another gate, finally. Then we were going inside. There was one area. There were prisoners. They were coming there. And they were allowed to make a phone call. And they're making a phone call, probably speaking to their family members. And they have a device, and timeout device. And then tuck, it goes out, it disconnects. Hello, still trying to talk, but he's very unhappy. So in the prison, he wants to talk to his family members or somebody whom he is talking to, as long as he wants. But in the prison, the rules are after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever, phone gets disconnected. He cannot talk. Next 1 week later, he can come back. Like that. So in the same way, in the material world, we may want to relate with somebody very nicely. We may want to experience a certain thing very nicely, enjoyable, relishable. But all of a sudden, that beloved person goes away. Death can happen. Something else can happen. And we ourselves can die. So, to my heart's fulfillment, I want to have this relation. It doesn't work that way in the material world. It's conditioned. So, our life, our relationships, our possessions, everything is a timeout. And when the timeout happens, you can't do anything. Relationships are gone. Possessions are gone. Acquisitions are gone. This is the nature of this material world. That's why it is a prison. Prison, it is all limited, conditioned, not according to his desire, but according to somebody else's arrangement. In the material world also, it's not according to our desire, but it is according to Lord's arrangement, according to law of karma. So, as consciousness awakens, consciousness becomes sensitive to these things and starts questioning, why are these things, limitations being imposed on me? I don't want these limitations. And these limitations have been imposed on me. Who has imposed these limitations? On what basis? Is it some kind of a random, undefinable arrangement of limitations? Or is there a science to it? Is there a basis to it? Is there a logic to it? So, these are indications of an evolving consciousness. That is why this kind of a evolving consciousness which raises these questions can be cultivated by a culture. That is what Vedic culture is. Vedic culture is to seek, encouraging one to seek and understand and come to the level of Athato Brahma Jignasa. Why this material world is the way it is? Why am I limited? But generally what happens is that we get used to it and we start thinking, no, this is the way it is. It is the way natural. So it is not, we should question why there is death for me, why there is I want to enjoy, have a good relation with somebody. Why that relation is being hampered? I want to enjoy with my body nicely, but why that my desire is being hampered by disease? And that also, some people get one kind of disease, some people get another kind, some people don't get disease for a long time. All kinds of experiences are there in the material world. So why these variations exist? What is the basis for this? So these are the important inquiries. And in Vedic culture, there was an arrangement so that this kind of inquiries come about and this subject is discussed and answers are found. So here, the sages of Naimisharanya are using this opportunity because they have come in touch with a great person like Sutta Goswami. There is no question, there is no benefit if we ask somebody who is also as ignorant as we are. He will only further increase our ignorance with his ignorance. That's of no benefit. We have to inquire from somebody who is enlightened, somebody who has also heard from enlightened sources. Sutta Goswami was one of the persons sitting when Shukadev Goswami was speaking to Parikshit, and he had heard him. So someone who has heard from an enlightened authority like Shukadev Goswami and understood that such an elevated person we should be eager to hear from. This eagerness to hear about spiritual knowledge, eagerness to know and understand from the Vedic literatures itself is an indication of an enlightened soul. An enlightened soul is always eager to hear more and more about Krishna. Krishna says in the Gita, Bodhayantha parasparam. What is the first line? Madchitta madgata prana bodhayantha parasparam. Katayantischa mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So, Madchitta Madgata Prana, one who is conscious of me, Madgata Prana, one whose life is dedicated to me, Bodhayantaha Parasparam, they wish to discuss about me among other devotees. Always Katayantascha Bodhayanti Nityam, and by doing that, Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. They are very satisfied and they are delighted by such activities. So here, the sages of Naimisharanya are taking this opportunity that while they were performing their sacrifices and they were contemplating about the onset of Kali Yuga, and at that time they were fortunate that they met Sutta Goswami. They mentioned that we consider ourselves fortunate that we have met you by the will of providence. And we accept you as the captain of our ship so that you can help us cross over this ocean of material existence. When you are crossing over an ocean, you need a captain. Every ship has a captain, and an able captain knows how to navigate in the midst of storms and direction, where to go, which way. Because you look around if you're a lay person in the ocean, everywhere there is water in every direction. Which way to go? A captain has experience. A captain knows how to read a map, how to steer the ship to cross the ocean. In the same way, our existence in the material world is like being in the ocean. These examples are given: being in the ocean, being in the midst of a forest fire, to help us understand that how our situation is actually very precarious. We don't realize that how our life is actually precarious. We don't know what can happen any moment. We read about road accidents, we read about different kinds of accidents in the newspapers. This person died. You think about that person whom we read in the newspaper, accidentally there was a death. That man, when he got up in the morning on that day, did he know that was his last day? He thought it's just like any other day I'm living. I'm going to office, I'm going to job or whatever he or she was doing. Didn't know that was his last day. In the same way, that can happen to any one of us. And this could be our last day. This is the last time I'm brushing my teeth. This is the last time I'm having my bath. This is the last meal I'm having. Don't know. Actually precarious. But foolishly we think that everything is very safe. My life will go on. So, one who is enlightened realizes the temporary nature of this material world. These are all indications of enlightened soul. He's conscious that, yes, life is temporary, cannot depend. Life is miserable. Whatever we do, some pleasure may come here and there, but all this will vanish and there is misery. So, being aware of the miseries and the temporary nature of this world is an indication of knowledge and enlightenment. That is why Krishna, when he is making a list of these things constitute knowledge, he says, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. It is a sign of an enlightened person. He sees that, yes, these miseries exist all around. This material world is not very pleasurable, it's not pleasurable, and it is temporary. Although it is so, our response to that this material world is miserable, our response to that this material world is temporary, is usually very, very muted response. We don't act about it, we don't take it seriously, we don't think about it, we don't seek some solution for this. And to get some solution, to get some direction, we need the help of the Vedic literatures. Otherwise, we will not be able to figure out ourselves. So the sages of Naimisharanya have met Suta Goswami. And so they are asking him, we have heard that Abhimanyu Sutam Bhagavatottamam Tasya Janma Karmani Cha Mahascharyam Grinihinaha. We have heard his birth activities were all wonderful. Please tell us about that. Because he is Bhagavatottamam. He's not an ordinary person. He's a Uttama Bhagavata. So, Prabhupada has explained in the purport that how Parikshit Maharaj's birth activities were all really wonderful. When he was born, immediately Brahmastra was released. When he was about to be born, not even born, he was in his mother's womb, Uttara's womb. And Brahmastra was released to kill him. And his mother prayed, please protect my womb. I have a child. Please protect my womb. And Uttara herself was a great devotee. And because of those prayers of the Lord appeared, Lord manifested himself and covered the womb with a spiritual potency that the Brahmastra could not kill. And so Maharaj Parikshit was protected at his birth, and he had that vision of the Lord's protection. And so when he was born, soon after his birth, he was still looking, where is that protection that I got from? And he was constantly inquisitive about that. Where is that protection that has come to me? And so his name was called Parikshit also. Always examining, where is that protection that has come to me? And so his birth was wonderful. And his activities were also wonderful, because during his time, when Parikshit was the king, when it was at that time, Kali Purusha enters and harming a cow, and Parikshit stops Kali Purusha from harming the cow. And in fact, prevents Kali Purusha from entering, but then under the circumstances, Kali Purusha surrenders to him. And so when somebody is surrendered, it is the duty of a Kshatriya to give him protection. And so he gave him protection, and he said, you can go to these kind of places, and mentioned 4 places, and so on. So in this way, how Parikshit ruled and how different things unfolded in his life were also wonderful, because that was the onset of Kali Yuga. And finally, his passing away was also wonderful, because he was given 7 days notice about his passing away. And so he prepared himself those 7 days hearing Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada mentions here that he was hearing Bhagavatam without thinking of eating, sleeping, drinking, or anything, but just with focused hearing. So like this we can see Parikshit's Janma and Karma was truly astonishing, was not ordinary. And he was a Bhagavatottama. He was a great devotee, always protected by the Lord. And so the sages are eager to know. We should be eager to know Bhagavatottama's birth and activities, not another person who is under the influence of karma, another conditioned soul who is under the laws of karma. He is born, he grows up in a certain way, and then he dies. There is nothing glorious about that. We may say, no, he achieved many glorious things, he worked hard and he achieved this. Those were all just karmic influence according to the laws of karma. Some people go up, some people go down. In some life, somebody is up, somebody in some other life they are down, or within a lifetime they go up and down. These are just being carried by the waves of karma. There's nothing wonderful about it. These are just temporary accomplishments. Somebody accomplishes and then those accomplishments go away. Then this is just a normal course of the material world. But materialistic people take great interest and inspiration from that. So look at this man was down and then he worked hard and he made it up. And then when people hear that, that inspires them with more passion, more rajoguna, with desires to enjoy the material world. So there are so many such examples, and people like to hear that. Oh, this is a great story that from how common man became something very big and accomplished many things, just to get some kind of an inspiration. But as from a transcendental point of view, these are just going up and down according to one's laws of karma. That's why in the Bhagavatam there is a story of Jada Bharat when Jada Bharat was carrying the palanquin of Maharaj Rahugana, and he was not walking properly. Rahugana was being tossed around, being carried. When you carry in a palanquin, how smooth your experience is depends on the palanquin carriers. If they are terrible carriers, like Jada Bharat was, he was very inconvenienced. And so he asked, why are you carrying like this? It's the right of a king. King thinks that his palanquin carrier should carry the king very smoothly to give him a good experience. But then Jada Bharat looked at him and said some very enlightened words. Rahugana was shocked. He said, you are thinking you are the king and I am your carrier. One day I could be sitting there and you could be carrying me. That was quite a bold statement for a palanquin carrier to make to a king. So like this, in this material world, ups and downs, somebody succeeds very well, man of accomplishment, all these things. But these are just acts of karma that the living entity is going through. So we see it that way, we understand that way from the viewpoint of transcendental knowledge. And as devotees, when we surrender to Krishna, even our activities and the results that we can produce as devotees will be far different from what our karma allows. And that is what we should all be aspiring. Krishna, what am I capable? What can I do? I wish to do something. And so please, Krishna, permit me to do, allow me to do. I wish to offer this service to you. This should be the mood of a devotee. And if a devotee maintains such mood, Lord is very pleased. And Lord will use such a devotee to do wonderful things. Everything about the Lord is wonderful. And so a devotee who is completely surrendered to the Lord, what he does will also be wonderful. Just like Srila Prabhupada. What he did. I remember once I explained Prabhupada's life story briefly to somebody. And after hearing that, he said, "Really? This happened?" It's unbelievable. Such a thing can happen to a man, old man at the age of 70, goes to a foreign land, does not know anybody, just goes to the park and picks up people from the park and builds a worldwide organization in short years, 10 short years. This is truly wonderful. So, Krishna can do such wonderful things with his devotees, for his devotees, because those devotees are very, very completely surrendered. We see that spirit of surrender when Srila Prabhupada wrote those 2 poems on board Jaladuta, and reading that, we can reflect on the and see the mood of surrender of Srila Prabhupada when he was coming. It was a very momentous, of course. Now we can look back and say that yes, Srila Prabhupada was that empowered person to take bhakti all over the world. But at that time, as Srila Prabhupada, he was, anyone else would have seen, would not have fathomed that at all. When those young American boys and girls came to him in the early days, they didn't know what was happening. He said, "I want to register, incorporate an organization called International Society for Krishna Consciousness." They thought that this is some kind of a very grand name. What is international about it? We are just in one storefront, hardly anybody. And we don't know how many days we will come, we may be gone. And Swamiji is so old, he has no money, he has no resources, he is depending, whatever, some rent also, he does not have any resources. And he is writing, he's saying, he's calling his society International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It looked most unexpected. But Prabhupada was having his plan. Even 2 years before that, when Prabhupada was in Radha Damodar temple, there is a typed sheet of paper. He's calling it League of Devotees. At that time, he was thinking of League of Devotees. And he's writing how there will be centers in different, he's writing with centers in different cities around the world. He has no money there, he has no resources there. He's struggling typing the manuscripts of Bhagavatam, but he was planning, wishing. So these are very, very special occurrences. And so the life of a devotee, the activities of the Lord are wonderful, the activities of the devotees are wonderful. And so we should be eager to hear and learn and be conscious of it and remember that. Human memory is such that we generally tend to forget, but we should reminisce these pastimes of the Lord, reminisce the pastimes of the devotees, and similarly also reminisce the pastimes of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. We'll stop here. Anyone has any question? One question. So, yeah, in the material world, there is kala, there is time. Time gives an opportunity for the sadhaka to learn many more things about spiritual world and purify his consciousness and become freed from all the impurities. And to Krishna will not, Krishna wants us to desire purely. Right now, our desires are impure. In the material world, we are trying to always lord over material nature. We want to enjoy, we want to be the enjoyer in every situation. So this is not the consciousness of a pure soul. This is an impure consciousness, trying to be independent of the Lord. Pure consciousness is to be fully understanding our position and to be dependent. Just like the sunshine cannot desire or imagine that I will be independent of the sun. Sunshine has no existence independent of the sun. It is an emanation of the sun. Sun is the primary reality. Sunshine is a secondary reality. In the same way, we are a secondary reality. Krishna is the primary reality. We don't even know that. Even as a religious person, we are thinking, I have my life, I have so many plans, I must enjoy on all these things, and I should seek God's blessing so that I can enjoy. That's how we think, everybody thinks in this world. They don't think that my existence is a secondary existence. I exist because Lord Krishna exists. And so I must know what the Lord wants of me. I must align myself with the Lord's wishes. That thought itself doesn't come to most people. So it's a spiritual learning, and that learning takes time. And that learning has to be made stronger and with determination. So Krishna is giving time. Through time, he is giving an opportunity for the living entity to make up his mind. Of course, the Lord is also giving in the form of time for the materialistic conditioned souls to experience their independent desires. So many things are happening in the material world like that. Yes. Okay. So in a traditional spiritual system, the disciple works under the direction and guidance of the spiritual master. The disciple will say, spiritual master, I wish to do this one. And then the spiritual master will say, yes, do, don't do, and so on. He is under the guidance and direction of the spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada has created an institutional arrangement to receive such guidance and training from the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada was there for 10 years after he founded ISKCON and initiated disciples. After that, he left this world. So how will they get the direction? What will they, how will a young devotee, maybe at 20 years, he surrendered to Prabhupada, took initiation. He is still 30 when Prabhupada left this world. How will he get direction? What was Prabhupada's plan? So Prabhupada's plan was that he wrote books. He spoke from the books in the form of lectures. He gave many, many instructions on different occasions. And he created an institution. And in the institution, meaning it's an organization. Organization means there is a hierarchy of leadership. And we fit into that organization, and we receive direction and perform our duties according to that. This is a system, an arrangement that Srila Prabhupada has envisioned and created. And so when we are doing our service, we work within the institutional framework that Guru has given. And Prabhupada also gave this example, like in an organization, you try to please your immediate boss. Then you know, if the boss is pleased, everything is all right. In the same way, this is an institution where we have somebody above us and we try to carry out those instructions. Of course, there are checks and balances. Somebody who is above you should also be following meticulously all of Srila Prabhupada's instructions. And we must be able to see that. And he must also be maintaining good consciousness. So there are some ways to determine this, understand these things, examine these things. And we can, if we want to do more service, something, we can talk to the devotee whom we are reporting to and say, Prabhu, I want to do more service. And the devotee may understand your situation and the circumstances, and he may enable. Actually, we must desire to do more and more service, but the details of what service, how to do what, how much more, we should leave it to the circumstantial arrangement that Prabhupada has made. What exactly that I should do, how I should do, what is that big thing I want? Because as conditioned souls, as a sadhaka, we may want to do big thing for our own glory, so that I will get recognition, I will be admired by people, people will praise me. These are the desires of a conditioned soul. So what we desire also has to be properly guided. Hence, our desire should be, Krishna, I want to serve you. There's no question of big service, small service in serving Krishna. Some of our previous acharyas, their service was to make one garland and offer to the Lord. But they were pure devotees. They are in the parampara, passing on and inspiring the next devotee. So this concept of big service, small service, he's doing small service, I'm doing big service, these are all material understanding. So these are all wrong concepts. I just want to please Krishna. I just want to remember him. My prayer to the Lord is, I should always be remembering Krishna and pleasing Krishna. How we do that, details, institutionally we will leave it to the institutional arrangement. This kind of a life gives us peace. If somebody is thinking, no, I must do this, accomplish this others are doing, this is a bit of a rajoguna. That's not the right way of thinking of a devotee. Devotee should chant his rounds, praying, Krishna, I want to please you, purify me, give me your service, whatever service you give. And then institutionally there is an arrangement, a beautiful arrangement Srila Prabhupada has made, and we do our services according to what we are supposed to do for that day. So it's a very wonderful arrangement that the Prabhupada has created in the form of sadhana and seva. And our sustenance is also taken care. So this is a transcendental arrangement that, and so yes, we want to do service. What service? Leave it to the Lord. Leave it to the spiritual master. That's the safe and the right mood for a devotee. We'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Radha Gopinath ki, Shri Nitai Gauranga ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.